Dynamic captioning, if you'd like to send a test, please. One more caption test, please. Request for a captions test. Perfect. Thank you so much. We see the captions.
morning. Can you hear me?
Do a quick mic check here. Testing, 1, 2, testing. Okay, the mic's working. Good.
Apologies, Vice Chairperson Ellenberg. Oh,
Okay. No,
Good morning,
sorry.
I'm here.
No, no, not yet. Actually, no, I just got to say welcome, everybody. It's 10 o'clock sharp this morning. I'd like to call the Finance Government Operations Committee, FGOC, committee meeting to order. This time, I am Supervisor Otto Lee, chairing this committee along with my Vice Chair, Supervisor Susan Ellenberg. And with both supervisors and our county exec present, we have a quorum. All right, going to item number 2, our public comments. This is reserved for members of the public to address the committee on any items not on the agenda. Any public who wish to address the committee on items not on the agenda should request to speak at this time. And Jess, could you please let us know how many speakers do we have for public comment this morning?
public comment item 2, we have no speakers in chambers, double checking, and I do not see any hands going up on Zoom.
Did you say 2? No, nobody.
For item number 2, I see no requests at this time.
All right, I'll go ahead and close the public comments period and move on to item number 3, which is approving the consent calendar and changes to the committee's agenda. Supervisor Ellenberg, do you have any additions or changes concerning the agenda this morning?
I'd like to recommend, given the public interest in speakers who are here on item 5, that we flip 4 and 5 and hear 5 first, if that's agreeable to you. And in addition, I don't want to remove item 19 from the consent calendar, but really just that's the item related to food services at county facilities. I just want to acknowledge the recent very welcome improvements at the Civic Center. My staff and I, and lots of others, certainly appreciate the local coffee truck that's now scheduled to come 3 times a week, as well as the other food trucks at lunchtime. I'm pleased to hear that about 90% of those trucks hit their revenue targets, which confirms that we have the critical mass on site to support that model. I was also really pleased to see the vending machines, the new vending machines with fresh food options and coffee. Love that it's $1.80 a cup as well. And while this item may seem quite minor in comparison to other items on the agenda, it is really important to me to acknowledge these efforts to make the Civic Center a better and more welcoming place for all of our employees and for the public. So thank you, thank you.
Thank you. And if there's no other changes, may I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
I'll second that. And any of the members of the public would like to address us on the consent calendar items should comment under this item at this time. Jess, do we have any speakers on the consent calendar?
I have no requests.
Okay. All right. Yes, I completely agree. I've already tried a couple of the coffee, $1.80 even for mocha, so that's pretty good price for coffee these days on the machine. And you can also bring your own cup and press a button, so you don't even have to waste one of those paper cups. But anyways, just to do a little PSA announcement to our staff. Okay, thanks so much. Let's go take a vote, Jess.
Vice Chairperson Ellenberg?
Yes.
Chairperson Lee?
Aye as well. All right, so we have now moved item number 5 before item number 4. And item number 5 on the agenda this morning is a report from the Facilities and Fleet Department and Behavioral Health Services Department relating to behavioral health facility expansions efforts and progress. And this morning, I believe, to present the item, we have, is that Dave Berry? Yes. Yes, the Chief of Facilities Planning Services of our Facilities and Fleet Department, and also Keeley, our Deputy County Executive. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm going to share my screen so we can present the slides. Okay, good morning. Thank you for this opportunity here with Dave Berry, Keeley, Deputy County Executive. Although we have been providing the committee with periodic updates on our behavioral health treatment facilities progress, we've been kind of providing those incremental reports over the last few months. So coming back from the break, we wanted to provide an overview of our progress on all of our treatment facilities at different levels of care. Also, we wanted to tee up for the committee and then later this month for the board the applications that we will be submitting to what we call the bond-funded Behavioral Health Continuum Infrastructure Program. As the committee may recall, in March, voters passed Proposition 1 that had several components, one of which was about $4.4 billion in bond proceeds to support the development of behavioral health treatment facilities. Those $4.4 billion are allocated into 2 rounds. Round 1 is accepting applications between now and December 13th. It's about $3.3 billion overall. And it has a kind of complex allocation methodology, but we have several opportunities to apply. There's a $278 million set aside for the Bay Area region. And in this set aside, all entities can apply. Counties, cities, for-profit, nonprofit entities. And then there is a $342 million statewide fund, and then an additional $1.5 billion that is available only for counties, cities, and tribal entities. Couple things to note about the bond proceeds. There is a 10% match for government entities, and it requires a 30-year use restriction for Medi-Cal beneficiaries. Overall, our interim goal is to really increase our behavioral health treatment facilities by about beds by about 50%. And I'll start with our substance use treatment residential and withdrawal management facilities. As you can see, we've made some progress with contracted beds, and we have two projects or partnerships underway. First, Pathway Society has started construction on their 30-bed addition. This is an addition to their Pathway House in San Jose. Second, the county leased 264 North Morrison in San Jose, and the Facilities and Fleet Department believes that we can implement the renovations over a 24-month period, and we will be able to establish or begin operations in the facility in early 2025, and we'll be submitting an application to the state for the renovations and for the acquisition of this facility. Turning to mental health or psychiatric beds, here we are talking about our acute level of care, and our focus has been in developing or partnering with organizations to make sure that there are additional acute care beds in Santa Clara County, and that focus for the last couple years has been on working with San Jose Behavioral Health. They have fully operationalized their 53 additional beds, and we're in the process of constructing the 77-bed child and adolescent psychiatric facility, otherwise known as the Behavioral Health Services Center. And here you have some pictures of its development, and this is from April. Another critical need are our subacute facilities, and we have been making progress both in contracted beds and in the development of new facilities. We've significantly increased our contracted beds. As you can see, we've gained additional 43 placements. The development of the Morgan Hills Skilled Nursing Facility is underway. We anticipate that we will be able to submit plans to the state for review by fall of 2025. This project will also be submitted to the state for a BHCIP application. We propose to demolish and redevelop 101 Jose Figueres, which I can speak to more about in the next couple of slides. And then finally, given the significant need of subacute facilities, we intend to identify another facility, another property, and develop either a new MHRC or a campus so that we can have some flexibility in the use of those beds. The committee may recall that we began to look at various county-owned facilities to determine which ones might be most suitable and could more easily be renovated in order to serve a subacute need. We honed in on 101 Jose Figueres, which is a county-owned facility, because it was already a Type 5 facility. Its building type was already appropriate for a subacute facility. In looking at the options, initially we were looking at option 1, what we call deliverable 1, which is to renovate the existing facility. And you can see that there are other options laid out on this chart. The other 3 options are to demolish the facility and construct a single-story or 2-story building. And we've honed in on option 3, which is to demolish the existing structure and build a 2-story building. On the first floor, we would have our crisis residential unit, a 10-bed CS crisis stabilization unit, and 57 mental health rehabilitation center beds. I'm sorry, I skipped a slide. I think this is important to understand for 101 Jose Figueres. So this property is in the east side of San Jose. You can see on the right, it's on Jose Figueres Avenue. In the kind of top right corner is our Alexian Clinic. And as you can see, it's an X-shaped building. And in this building, we have 2 types of programs. One is a 15-bed crisis residential treatment, and another is a crisis stabilization unit. One of the challenges of expanding on this facility is just an inefficient use of the property, the space, and we can't add more beds to it without triggering the IMD exclusion, which limits our ability to fund the ongoing operations. So we believe that the most effective use of the space will be to demolish the existing structures and build a new two-story building with a new MHRC on the second floor, and then the space on the first floor would allow the existing program operations to be moved back into that once it's fully developed. Turning into mental health residential treatment, as you know, one of our successes was the establishing of the 650 South Bascom Avenue, 28-bed adult residential. We're also working with the city of San Jose to acquire a property that we call the Vermont House in San Jose using state funds. We'll temporarily use that as a transitional housing program while we get the licensing necessary to convert it into a 12-bed adult residential treatment program. And here we have a summary of our capital projects. One, the Behavioral Health Services Center. Second, 264 North Morgan Hills Skilled Nursing Facility. The acquisition of Vermont House from the city of San Jose. Our recommendation to demolish 101 Jose Figueres and build a new facility. And then finally, to acquire a new property to develop a MHRC or Behavioral Health Treatment Facility campus. And although not a treatment facility and more of a temporary shelter, should be noted that the county is also acquiring, in partnership with the city of San Jose, a 78-bed non-congregate shelter, which we will use to meet the needs of individuals with behavioral health conditions. And finally, this table summarizes the applications that we would submit to the state. Looking at the three projects that we have cost estimates for, we think our funding request would be about $112 million, and we would have a match requirement of about 12.5. We have those funds set aside in our 10-year CIP currently. For the new treatment facility or the behavioral health treatment facilities campus, we don't have cost estimates for that right now, but our current sort of thinking about trying to build multiple facilities puts the total cost estimate in the range of about $250 million, a portion of which the county would have to provide as match. With that, I'll pause our presentation and be ready for questions. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Key. I will just go ahead and ask Supervisor Ellenberg any questions you have of the presentation.
I do, but I would be very interested in hearing public comment first.
Oh, okay.
If that's all right.
On this one? Sure. No worries. Actually, I do have a couple of questions I want to follow up with you on this one. Keith, thank you so much for the presentation. This is very helpful on the numbers and a very clear laying out of what we are trying to apply for with this upcoming funding from Prop 1. The fact that there's a 10% match certainly makes sure that our dollar goes way, way farther. And is it the intent for the county to make sure that we have these very well presented, prepared, kind of shovel-ready projects so that when we apply for it, our chance of getting these approved will be higher?
Yes, thanks for the question, Supervisor. The bond program has some minimum requirements, the key of which is site control. For most of these projects, we have site control. And to meet site control for the last project, the new behavioral health treatment facility campus, we can meet that with a letter of intent. So we'll try to meet that minimum requirement. And with FAF's help and the addition of Consuelo Hernandez, Deputy County Executive, who is supporting FAF, we'll be as ready as we can for all of those applications.
Good. And also looking at the various options, one the one Jose Figueres that you have presented, deliverable one being reusing of the current single story without demolition. I'm a little surprised, to be honest with you, looking at the project schedule. The reuse without demolition, according to project schedule, would take 29 months, while our current plan, which is demolishing, building a two-story building, the preliminary project schedule is only 34 months. So for 5 months, we can get the demo done and also build a brand-new two-story building. I just want to make sure that these dates actually match or make sense.
Yes, hi, Dave Barry with Facilities and Fleet. And part of the reason is that while we're doing design and permitting, we can also prepare for the demolition as well. So there's that overlap that occurs there. I should also note that when you're dealing with an existing structure of this age, there's sometimes hidden defects that you may uncover, which could ultimately prolong the project too. All things considered, though, yeah, it's the time frame for each of the options is negligible practically.
Interesting, because of course, by having two stories, we're building practically double the number of MHRC from 47 to 92, which is certainly very exciting, very well needed. So thank you very much.
Yeah, and most likely the footprint would be a rectangle or something akin to that, and not an X shape, which
Not
is
like an X-wing fighter, like we were.
X marks the spot, but it's very efficient for a building.
Great, thank you very much. All right, and I'll go ahead and open up the public hearing. How many speaker cards do we have this morning?
I have 17 cards. There are currently 5 hands in Zoom with some additions. We'll give that a minute to climb. Again, we're calling for public comment for item number 5. If you're on Zoom and would like to speak on item 5, please raise your hand. We are up to 11, which puts us at 28.
28. Yeah, so based on our rules, generally, we have for 15 or more speakers on an item, the amount of time is for 1 minute. So clerk, would you please set for 1 minute for each of the speakers?
Yes. And would you like to close the queue?
Yeah, let's go ahead and close the queue for the speakers now. So if you need to speak, rush over here to get your card in, or if you're calling in, this is it.
We had one more hand go up, so I'm at 12 hands on Zoom,
Okay,
17 in chambers, which puts us at 29.
okay, great, 29 speakers.
I'll call names from the pile of cards. If you hear your name, please form a line in the center of chambers and approach the podium. Mark Lewis, Allie Victorine, Kelly Rowe, Larry Whitaker, Robert McCannon. And Mark, please go ahead.
Good morning. In our downtown San Jose community, we experience people struggling to survive with mental health and drug dependency issues every day. This is not fair to them, and it impacts the community at large. We applaud all the crisis and short-term care actions that the county has taken to date. However, a key care piece that is missing is facilities with beds for long-term inpatient care that for so many is their only chance of returning to a fully functional and stable life. We are one of the most affluent counties in our state, and we now have state support available. Let's pursue the resources and develop a significantly greater number of inpatient care beds necessary for us to provide the long-term mental health and addiction treatment that so many of our county's residents desperately need and deserve. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kelly Rowe. I'm from Teen Challenge. I want to make note of some of the reasons for this great need to add more beds for mental health and substance abuse beds. So in Santa Clara County, since 2018, there have been 4,636 deaths of despair. Those deaths of despair include things like suicide, drug overdose, and death from liver problems associated with alcohol use. So the number has been rising. So that is just something we have seen. Teen Challenge does have beds available to help with the substance abuse side of things. So we are definitely in favor of increasing the number of beds here. Thank you.
Good morning, Supervisors. My name is Allie Victorine. I'm a 43-year resident of Seven Trees neighborhood in San Jose, and I am here to support the board actively pursuing and using monies from State Prop 1 in order to provide more inpatient treatment beds and facilities so that residents of Santa Clara County can receive the mental health treatment that they need. For 6 months last year, our neighborhood was terrorized by a young man who was in obvious mental health distress. He would cut down trees, throw dirt at passing cars, and yell at pedestrians. We became experts at knowing when to call 911, 311, 988, asking for trust teams, and emailing homeless concerns. After 6 months, he moved on to another neighborhood. This man needed help, inpatient help, not harassment. I encourage and support increasing the inpatient beds and care for Santa Clara County. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Larry Whitaker. I'm concerned about California's ineffective mental health care system that allows thousands of people with mental health and addiction issues to be overlooked and are now struggling to make it on the streets and creeks. We need to end the era of encampments. Inside and outside of the grocery stores where I work and the streets and trails where I jog, it's not unusual to encounter a disturbed person who's screaming at someone who's not even there, often for more than an hour. They may be a danger to themselves or others. It's a scary situation. I'm sure all of you have seen this too. We need to take advantage of state funding from Proposition 1 to focus on inpatient beds for mental health and addiction treatment. I encourage this board to take action to ensure that those in need have access to the full treatment that they deserve. Thank you.
After Robert, we'll hear from Sandra Harrison-Kay, Jeff Levine, no one's sure, Diane McDonald, Diane Dow, Dawn Orozco. Go ahead.
My sister was murdered by her son, who was violent, mentally ill, and drug addicted. He was for years in and out of jail for assaultive crimes. Each time after being released, he did not receive treatment for his behavior. His assaultive behavior grew exceedingly more violent each time, resulting in the murder of my sister. I worked as a correctional deputy for Santa Clara County for 27 years and spent a large portion of my time working the maximum security jail units. Many of the inmates housed in these units were homeless, violent, mentally ill, or drug-addicted individuals. They were placed in single cells because they were a danger to others. While they were in jail, they were provided treatment. When they got released, they went back to living on the streets with no treatment. These individuals need to be given a bed at a treatment facility, allowing them to get help, and by doing so helps keep the public safe. By not receiving treatment in a facility, these individuals not only get worse, but they also continue to commit crimes. They are rearrested repeatedly, going in and out of jail. This is putting an...
Thank you.
A public prayer. Ephesians 6:13 speaks of putting on the complete armor of God and doing all that the crisis demands. The crisis of growing mentally ill and addicted population on the streets, which is creating a preventable public safety nightmare. This crisis demands an immediate increase in the number of beds and treatment facilities made available. We pray here for the attention and traction given to Dignity Acres Emergency Campground as a solution during the crisis. San Jose, Santa Clara County also have a huge, potentially criminal crisis of their own making. Billions of dollars which have already been received to address the homelessness crisis, but which are utterly unaccounted for. The data desert. And worse, no one is being held accountable. This crisis demands that every single nickel received from Prop 1 funds be disclosed to the public as it is received, as it is spent, and as it is invested.
Thank you very
No more
much.
With gratitude.
Yes, thank you. Your time is up, but yes, we will definitely get you the data. Thank you.
The name from your card, please. May I have your name for the record? No, I'm sorry, the previous speaker. Thanks very much.
Hi, my name's Diana McDonald. I was born and raised in San Jose. I live next door to Los Gatos Creek, and every day, from the time I'm in the morning until the end of the day, I see people who are just so struggling, living in the park, under the freeway, coming out of the creek. Just the other day, there was a mental health crisis where 7 sheriffs were clearly taking someone who was having a psychosis. And it's just a daily thing, and it just breaks my heart that there should be enough beds available for one of our most vulnerable populations. I'm personally connected to this. I've lost a grandfather, a sister, and a son to mental illness, schizophrenia, or schizoaffective disorder. And my grandfather was at Agnew State Hospital for 15 months. My sister, sadly, lost her life on the streets, and my son had the best care, but you know, he was in that crisis. I strongly urge you to support funding.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Diane Dow. I'm living in San Jose since 1988. On the street, behind the laundry store and liquor store, I saw a lot of people with the drug, alcohol addiction, and mental health issue hang around, create a lot of noisy and screaming and yelling. They may be a danger for themselves and others. It's a scary situation to make us feel unsafe to walk in this area. I'm sure you all have to see this too. We need to have take advances to stay funding from petition one to focus on the inpatient bed for mental health and addiction treatment. I'm encouraging this board to take action for ensure to make those in need help asset for treatment.
Thank you. Come on. I just also want to remind all the speakers, if you have a statement and you want to make it part of the record, you could actually give a copy of the statement to our clerk, and we'll make sure that it becomes part of the record of your this hearing. Thank you.
I'm Jeff Levine. As a native Californian, I'm proud of what we've accomplished during my lifetime. This state overwhelmingly has demonstrated that it has a heart and welcomes folks from all over the world. So I was shocked and dismayed to learn that just a half a century ago, we had 337 psychiatric beds per 100,000 people. Today, that's down to 12 beds per 100,000 people. What can we do in Santa Clara County? We must add hundreds of additional treatment beds for people suffering from both mental illness and substance abuse disorders. Where are these people today? They're dying in the streets or suffering in jail because we don't have the facilities to give them the real treatment that they need. Santa Clara County needs to raise its voice and secure the funding from the state that's available through Prop 1. We then need to turn those dollars into action by aggressively expanding inpatient beds for serious mental health and addiction treatment. Thank you.
Thank you.
And after Dawn, we'll hear from Ana Vasquez, Leonorilda Herrera, Juan Maya, Pedro Moreno, and Ma Inez Ortega.
Good morning, supervisors. My name is Don Orozco. I am from the Filipino community of Santa Clara County. And just to share you, a couple of months ago, Mayor Matt Mayan was actually visited our place, and this is the very reason, this is one of the discussions that we had. And it is the end of the encampments, which the direction is now in that way. The only reason I'm here really is to encourage the board to take action to ensure that those in need to have access in the full treatment be provided for. And thank you for all the efforts that you have done so far. And again, we encourage you to continue and increase the funding for this project. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Ana Vasquez. I'm part of the board of Cadillac Winchester Neighborhood Association. We're here because we are concerned about how people is outside with mental health problems, and we've been struggling since 2016 with these problems. So we are requesting the county if they can provide us like a budget to the city to build like more facilities, because we have seen that we're short on health problems. Solutions. So we are suggesting like to provide like a certain funding to these programs to help us to solve this problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Buenos días, yo voy a hablar en español.
Sí, está bien.
Yo estoy aquí para hacer una petición de cómo podemos concientizar como líderes y poder invertir en programas que puedan ayudar a los jóvenes que muchas veces salen de la cárcel y los echan a la calle, y allá afuera no es la solución para ellos. Entonces, ¿por qué no apoyar a los centros de rehabilitación, hacerlos más grandes, invertir en programas que los puedan ayudar? Y pues que sean buenos ciudadanos, que tengan esa oportunidad, que no todos la tenemos, o que no todos pensamos psicológicamente, a veces no estamos bien, no sabemos en qué situaciones están esos jóvenes, por qué se meten en tantos problemas, por qué se meten en las drogas. Y yo soy madre de un hijo de ellos. Por eso estoy aquí. Gracias.
Gracias.
Muchas gracias. Yes, then translator, please.
I don't have a live interpreter available at committee meetings.
Yes, please go ahead, Michelle.
Disculpe, señora, otra vez su nombre. Leonida was saying that she's here to advocate for more support on mental health services. She's really advocating for the youth. She's seen struggles after school programming is not available. And when you have youth that are roaming the streets with mental health services and there's no services or centers to be able to place them in, that's the biggest struggle. She's actually advocating for herself as she has a son. Un hijo, ¿verdad, señora? Un hijo? And she's struggling with that and having to provide the contact that is needed here. So again, she's here trying to make sure that we use the funding for more mental health services facilities.
Thank you.
Hello, good morning. My name is Juan Maya, and I'm from the Cadillac Winchester Neighborhood Association. And I am in favor of this plan, as well as what happened with a recent incident as of last year at the Happy Hollow event, as we were invited. Because at the time of night, there was a homeless guy who actually was, as we found evidence of some drug use that he left around. And with that, I actually did scare with everyone, and this is something I don't like to see. And with this, we tried our best to seek some help, but as if we tried to talk with the guy, he vanished, and then once we were told by the police that they found him underneath like the bridge at the highway there. And so right now we aren't too sure, but I do like to see more beds around to seek more help for these guys. Thank you.
Buenos días a todos. Mi nombre es Pedro Moreno, de la comunidad de Cadillac Winchester. Le pido su apoyo, ayuda con salud mental, drogas, alcohol, más camas en los hospitales. Queremos una comunidad segura a la misma vez para las personas que viven en las calles. Muchas gracias por escucharme.
Muchas gracias.
Mucho gusto.
He can do it in English. He's going to translate for me. ¿Quieres que me enseñes tus comentarios, mijo? A ver. Yo lo puedo es que no lo escribí todo, me lo muy rápido. Sí. Sorry, I didn't get to type it all up quickly, so I'm going to read his notes. His name is Pedro Moreno. He's here from the community of CWNA.
He's asking for support for mental health services, specifically on drugs and alcohol. He would like to see more hospitals in the community that are going to be targeted for this and trying to remove youth and adults off the streets and providing them services.
Good morning, everyone.
Good
My
morning.
name is Maria Inés Ortega. I'm Vice President for the Association Cadillac Winchester Neighborhood Association. Please, I need, can you approve funders, more beds in the hospitals, men's health and support, rehabilitation centers for homeless people, and for addictions. If you work together for the city of San Jose, you can find a solution for safety communities. For more young kids example for this community, speak for more support mental health. But thank you so much for support and listen me a little words. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And our next speakers will be Elva Wilson and Tom Wilson.
Hello, my name is Elva Wilson. Contrary to my plans for a well-deserved retirement after 35 years of service to the County of Santa Clara Procurement Department, I can no longer enjoy the simple pleasures of walking or riding my bike on my neighborhood trails, nor can I take my grandkids to play in the nearby Penitentiary Creek Park. Why? Because I fear the homeless. Having been the victim of intentional indecent exposure, I've been spit on. I have been verbally accosted by a homeless person screaming incoherently within a few inches of my face. San Jose is working to move the homeless out of encampments, but cities do not have the legal jurisdiction, funding, or technical expertise to provide mental health services needed by the mentally ill and drug addicted. Taxpayers are done with failed solutions.
Thank you. And yeah, like I said, you could actually present the statement to a clerk and we'll put it in the record. Yeah, thank you. Thanks. Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Good morning. My name's
Good morning.
Tom Wilson. I'm here to ask the county to take bold action to ensure those in need have access to the inpatient treatment they deserve. Our county must embrace recent statewide behavioral health reforms and aggressively pursue the state funding made available through Prop 1. Federal money is also available for long-term services like disability programs, food stamps, housing, transportation, and socialization programs, as well as Medicaid and Medicare. But without the county advocating for patients, these resources won't be fully realized. It's insufficient to go on funding current county programs. The worsening crisis indicates that nothing we're presently doing is ever going to work. Within the state and federal parameters, California counties have broad discretion in how they fund and provide services, including determining budgets and priorities. Please address the crisis by funding more shelters, more beds, and more treatment.
Thank you. So last speakers in person coming up.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Michael Mulcahy from San Jose. I'm here to speak for many neighbors in my community and many small businesses in our neighborhood business districts that are struggling. We're doing our best to care for our homeless neighbors, but we need your urgency and help. The bad news is, back in the old days, it was not always openly discussed about mental health. It was wrongly stigmatized. We didn't know what we know now, that mental health conditions are health conditions, and they can be treated. And there should be no shame in seeking treatment. Leaders closed facilities like Agnew, where I worked as a high school student, with a promise that better community treatment was ahead. That did not happen adequately. But there is an answer. We can do something. We can build new mental health treatment beds we need. And I'm here as an emissary for my neighbors to ask that you do exactly that. Thank you so much for considering the urgent pleas of your neighbors for more treatment beds as you discuss this matter. Thank you.
Thank you. And clerk, how many do we have now on the
We closed the
Zoom.
queue at 12. We're holding at 12.
12? Okay, thank you.
And our first speaker online will be Jose Salcido. You'll have 1 minute to speak. We'll open your microphone in just a second. And please begin.
Now, hello.
We can hear you now.
Thank you. So my name is Jose Salcido. I'm born and raised in Santa Clara County. I'm on the board of directors for Willow Glen Neighborhood Association. And we're very happy with the work the city's doing to end homelessness, but this is really a situation that's going to require all hands on deck. It's going to require not only the city, but the county and the state. We all know how difficult it is to pass bonds and to get that approval from voters, and this Prop 1 is a major accomplishment. So we are asking the county to stay focused on making this request from the state, that it is a crisis and it's all about increasing the beds. That's what we'd like to see, is more treatment beds for the many individuals that need this help. Thank you.
Our next speaker is David Noel. We'll open your microphone. You'll have 1 minute to speak. The timer will start when you begin speaking.
Good morning, honorable committee members. I'm David Noel, president of Erickson Neighborhood Association, which is located along the Guadalupe River in South San Jose near the future Cherry Avenue emergency interim housing site. Our neighborhood has stood in support of the Cherry Avenue EIH because we're willing to be part of the solution to homelessness, and we look forward to ending destruction, fires, pollution, and lawlessness in the Guadalupe River behind us. While the city-provided EIH will be ideal for many of the current residents, others will need a higher level of care to address mental health and addiction, which only the county can provide. In the next 12 months, the county and its 15 cities will need to bring thousands of waterway residents indoors. So I urge you to take advantage of the Proposition 1 funds to greatly expand inpatient beds and secure treatment centers for mental health and addiction treatment as quickly as possible. Please help end the inhumane, ineffective, and expensive revolving door between the streets, jail, and county emergency rooms. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Jesse Pawar. You'll have 1 minute to speak. Please begin. We've opened your microphone. You'll have to click to unmute, or there you go.
Yeah, hi. My name is Jessie Pawar, and I've lived in Santa Clara County for the past 30 years. And I'm encouraging the Board of Supervisors to expand the number of inpatient treatment beds. Those that suffer from mental illness need support, and this is where we can start. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Arashjot Pawar. You'll have 1 minute. You'll open your microphone. The timer will start when you begin speaking.
Hi, my name is Arshjot Singh, and I've lived in San Jose for the past 20 years, and I'm encouraging the Board of Supervisors to expand the number of inpatient treatment beds, those that suffer from mental illness, and that need support, and this is where we can start. Let's make a difference now. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Willow Glen Neighborhood Association. Please go ahead.
Hi, it's Deanna Rosadagon, president of the Willow Glen Neighborhood Association and 55-year resident of Santa Clara County. And we are encouraging the county to use Prop 1 dollars as well as other monies to expand the beds for mental health and addiction treatment. All of us now have experienced personally, or we see when we go out in our neighborhoods, people whose lives have been hijacked from mental health or drug addiction or both, and these people need help. It's not compassionate to leave them on the streets and let them live like this. And we need to expand our mental health and addiction treatment centers and accountability for the money spent. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Yi Wang. You'll have 1 minute. Please go ahead.
Hello. Hello, can you hear me?
We can.
Okay. I thank you for this opportunity, and I would suggest to propose two actionable steps. The first one is assignment of responsibility. I urge the council to designate a specific individual within our city government who will be solely responsible for coordinating efforts to solve homelessness by providing mental health assistance. This person would be accountable for developing and executing a comprehensive plan that focuses on identifying and supporting those who need mental health care. The second step is transparent communication. To ensure our community is informed and engaged, I propose creation of monthly newsletter which include how many we.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Robert Awite. You'll have 1 minute. Please go ahead.
Hello, is that me?
Yes.
Okay, my name is Roberta Whitty. I'm a resident of San Jose and a teacher in downtown San Jose. Our community deserves an effective strategy to deal with the challenges of mental health, homelessness, and substance abuse. Please help the people of Santa Clara County to expand inpatient beds. I agree with the previous in-person speakers. I personally see the increased need in our young student population, especially our middle schoolers. There are very few beds for young teenagers in our area. The county needs to pursue the funding available through Proposition 1. We need you to step up and prioritize expanding the facilities for all of our people in need. Thank you for considering this.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Jai. You'll have 1 minute to speak. Please go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Jay Srinivasan. I'm a resident of the County District 4 under Supervisor Oliver Lee. I am an elected school board member. I'm speaking on my behalf today. Living near a big park in the freeway, every day I see mentally challenged and drug-addicted homeless folks creating unsafe environments and for our families and vandalizing public and private properties, including my own. In our schools, we regularly find drug paraphernalia. This is unacceptable, and it's a health and safety issue for our children. We have people sitting in jail and dying on the street simply because we have nowhere else to house them that will provide behavioral health treatment. I encourage this board to take bold action to embrace recent statewide behavioral health reforms and aggressively pursue the state funding recently made available to Prop 1 and help those in need have access to the comprehensive treatment they deserve. Thank you so much.
Our next speaker is President of HPNA. Please go ahead.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can.
My name is Sam. I'm the president of the Hamilton Place Neighborhood Association. I'm here to represent about 60 of my neighbors who live alongside Los Gatos Creek between Lay and Bascom Avenue. I've been a resident of San Jose for 1 year. In the time that I've been here, we've seen multiple mental health incidents. We do call the trust program, but it takes up to an hour for them to respond. And by that time, as you know, somebody with mental health may have wandered off into the creek or elsewhere. It's exceedingly challenging. Make no mistake, this crisis affects multiple counties in California. We need to be aggressive and be the first in line to get resources for Proposition 1. Please treat this with a priority. It's something that will help our community. Thank you so much.
Our next speaker is Todd W. You'll have 1 minute. Please go ahead.
Hello, my beautiful niece, now in her early 20s, has been dealing with addiction and mental health issues and living on and off the streets for many years now. We as a family have tried to get her into an inpatient treatment program, as she has left every outpatient program after a day or two. She recently showed up at my mother's saying she was 2 months pregnant when it was actually 8.5 months. Now we have had to deal with the disheartening adoption process. We are still struggling to get her mental health help for my niece. I often hear this referred to as a crisis. We need more treatment beds and actual action now. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Anita Kumari. You'll have 1 minute. Please go ahead.
Hello everyone, thank you for all the information. I'm Anita Kumari, founder of mental wellness startup Happiness Factors, residing in San Jose. And as everyone else has said, mental health is a big crisis in our county, and we do need more beds to support those patients who need really the bed care. And also it will help us meet the demand of the shortage of beds, like the person before me spoke about his niece who could not get into an in-person facility, as well as it will help get those people help who cannot afford on their own to get into an in-person facility, and also they don't have to wait forever, and thus they can get treated and get back leading their life as they are supposed to. It will also reduce the wait time for people who are looking for the beds, as well as help us manage the mental wellness health crisis much better and provide comprehensive care, and thus help the community have a better wellness. So I would encourage.
Our final speaker is Sukhdev Baniwal. You'll have 1 minute. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good morning. This is Sukhdev Singh Baniwal, 46-year resident of San Jose, and also a director at Sikh Gurdwara San Jose. Mental health has been ignored in California for so long that I regularly see people on the streets and encampments and public places without any care. At our nonprofit organization, we have people show up that have mental health issues, and then they cause issues with the members there. And as it's obvious, they do have mental health issues and they need help immediately. So I encourage the county to use the Proposition 1 money to create more inpatient beds for mental health patients, so we can take care of our mental ill. So please take some action immediately to create more beds and create a comprehensive treatment for that people deserve.
That concludes public comment.
Thank you very much. I'll go ahead and close the public hearing for now, and I'll go and ask Supervisor Ellenberg for your comments and questions. Go ahead.
Great, thank you so much. Comments, really. First, thanks to Key and Dave for your presentations today. And before I share some substantive comments on the item, I want to take a moment to thank everyone who showed up, who commented or tuned in today or sent emails to the supervisors in advance of this committee meeting. I'm so glad that you made the time to hear today's report and to understand exactly what the county is doing to expand access to mental health and substance use disorder inpatient beds. Everything the speakers asked for today is exactly what we are in the process of doing, so it feels good to be on the same page. As everyone heard in today's staff presentation, since the start of fiscal 22-23, the county has added 16 SUTS residential beds, 53 acute care inpatient locked beds, 43 subacute beds, and more than 200 additional inpatient behavioral health beds are currently in the pipeline. Our county is also preparing to submit multiple applications to access Prop 1 money, as Key and Dave outlined in their report and presentation. Our proposals for round 1 funding are robust and project ready, as is a required criteria. We are well positioned with real projects that are ambitious and competitive. Thank you to the speakers and the emailers for your vocal and written advocacy for these efforts around Prop 1. I'd like to step back for a moment from the significant work that our county is doing to expand treatment for mental illness and substance use disorders. And I'll note that we didn't even touch on the significant workforce needs that we have to fill, and talk about what I think may underlie at least a portion of the broad interest in this item today. The number of people who are experiencing entirely unsheltered homelessness has become increasingly prevalent in our county and across the state. Many residents who may have long felt compassion for those neighbors who are struggling for their survival have lost some of that patience. And as we heard today, some have lost more than patience. They have tragically lost loved ones. That is intolerable, and I am so, so sorry for your losses. After all, hundreds of millions of dollars have been poured into this crisis, but it hasn't been solved. So it's not unreasonable to conclude that whatever has been done over the past decade or so hasn't worked. And it's hard to convince anyone otherwise when they drive past sprawling encampments along Guadalupe River Park or under freeway overpasses, or arrive at their places of business in the morning to find one or more people sleeping in their storefront, or simply don't feel safe or comfortable walking past individuals who may appear to be menacing due to their psychological or physiological state, or, of course, tragically, lose loved ones. I deeply empathize with that sentiment. I understand the impatience, and I see the resulting flurry of bills and legislation over the past number of years have tried to get to this crisis from a range of perspectives. If we decide that we can't get people housed permanently because it's too expensive and takes too long, let's expand ways to conserve people. Let's create more locked institutions. And if Prop 36 passes in November, let's put a lot more of them in jail. There are absolutely people who would benefit from inpatient treatment and conservatorship, and we are building facilities for them. But while those options may provide some short-term visible changes on our streets and provide critically needed treatment, not one of those tactics will solve the challenge of homelessness. People will get treatment and they will leave the secure facilities. They will serve their sentences at great expense to all of us and return to their communities. We will not have advanced the ball in any substantive manner. And short-term fixes are just not good enough for me. People use drugs and other substances, they experience mental illnesses, they lose jobs and get evicted from apartments in every city in this country. They don't become homeless in every city, however, only those in which the cost of housing is unaffordable to low-income, working-class, and even middle-income people. They become homeless in Santa Clara County. And we have a solution that works. Through the leveraging of Measure A dollars 4-to-1, we created or renovated enough units to house 17,000 people since 2018. While critics were saying that permanent housing is too expensive and takes too long, we were building and completing 56 projects across 10 cities. Our model is being replicated across the state wherever local electeds can persuade their local residents to commit funding at scale to this effort. Of course, we haven't neglected the value of interim shelter. Since the beginning of fiscal 2022, we have added more than 500 units, which represents a 23% increase in shelter beds countywide. As of today, the county funds annually $28.2 million for the 991 beds across a range of temporary housing, including congregate and non-congregate shelters. But here's the rub. People continued to lose their housing the entire time we were financing and building new units. Scant dollars were spent by any city or, regrettably, our county to keep people from falling into homelessness. So, understandably, community residents, elected leaders, lost patience. If they couldn't see measurable improvement on the streets, they didn't want to wait out the only solutions that are actually working, albeit slowly. If we can prevent people from continuing to lose their housing and we build more deeply affordable units across all our cities, we can solve this crisis. But it requires staying the course, measuring incremental progress, and continuing to fund at scale. I am well aware that this is not a politically popular pathway, but it really is the truth. The final point I'll make is that it's so easy to point fingers and pronounce that someone else isn't doing their job. The county has the receipts to show that we are putting every possible effort and dollar into making homelessness rare, brief, and non-recurring. We are building out our system of mental health and substance use disorder care at a clip not seen in many other counties in the state. We are doing the work every single day. Our collective responsibility is to our shared residents and the improvement of their quality of life. And as such, our residents should remain centered in our work and in the solutions that we choose to pursue. I appreciated the Willow Glen Neighborhood Association speaker who used exactly this term, collective responsibility. And we need partners, not antagonists. Real partnership looks like ongoing, reliable funding from the state so we can engage in long-term planning. Frankly, Governor Newsom's penchant for one-time funding with the constantly dangling threat of withholding funds is distinctly unhelpful. It is not government that will be harmed by that withholding, but the very people we are trying to get healthy and stabilized. Real partnership looks like regional cooperation and collaboration to meaningfully make a difference on homelessness. And that's why measures like the regional housing bond are so important. There were admittedly some missteps in the rollout of the ballot proposition, but the reality is if that bond is removed from the ballot or fails, that is $4 billion that doesn't come into our county. And if we could house 17,000 people with $900 million, imagine what all of us, the county and 15 cities, could do with 4 times that amount. We need local partnerships to be successful in our applications for Prop 1 funding for mental health facilities. Real partnership looks like our cities joining us to cost share with the county to expand our mental health mobile crisis response teams, expediting permitting processes as well as purchase and sale agreements for behavioral health facilities and deeply affordable housing projects. For example, the county right now is working with and waiting for the San Jose City Council to consider purchase and sale agreements with the county for 2 projects, one for 12 mental health temporary housing units for justice-involved clients on Vermont Street, and 78 temporary housing units for justice-involved clients on Monterey Road. I would urge all of our cities not to divert significant funds away from permanent housing unless it's to invest directly in homelessness prevention. Cities can also directly submit applications if they have project-ready proposals to, under the Proposition 1 rules. They don't have to wait for the county. Real partnership looks like our local community colleges and universities expanding their degree programs to help build the behavioral health workforce pipeline. In short, we all need each other to solve this crisis. For those who are interested in solving for this most critical issue and working together to improve the lives of our residents, the County of Santa Clara stands ready to partner with you. We are the safety net, and we are deeply serious about this work. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Allenberg. First of all, I'd also want to echo the comments. First of all, I want to thank our team for this presentation, for Key and Dave for the presentation of how to lay out our proposal to the state for how to spend the Prop 1 funding. And I certainly want to thank the speakers coming up to share their heartfelt stories of how the issues of mental health, substance use, treatment, or the lack thereof, for many of our residents has how affected people's lives on a daily basis, how it makes us feel unsafe in our own neighborhood. Prop 1 has barely passed by the voters, but it was good that it passed because it was able to provide the $4.4 billion funding statewide. And today, as you can see in our presentation, we are asking for $112 million of that $4 billion in order to increase 130 acute level mental health beds, 118 subacute beds, and 81 mental health residential beds. The county is going to provide a 10% match based on the project match of $12 million, and we will be happy to match that once the funding comes in to make this happen. In addition, I also want to mention that we are currently finishing at the VMC campus in 2025 our own behavioral health services center with 77 mental health beds being increased to our inventory. As we have all experienced, the cost of housing is no longer affordable. I practically said that is practically insane when the average house is now $1 million. However, there certainly are no silver bullet to solve this issue. We absolutely need to build more housing, whether we talk about permanent supportive housing or even interim and short-term interim housing for beds, for individuals, in addition to what we talk about in terms of mental health and also substance use treatments as well. Being left on the streets or sleeping in tents or creeks are not only inhumane, it is not safe, and hundreds have died annually on the streets in our county. Being homeless is not a crime. They need help, not jail. It's inhumane and uncivilized, and being a very well-resourced county, we cannot tolerate this further. And as we move forward with the difficult task of removing encampments, it is absolutely crucial that we do so with compassion and commitment to the well-being of those affected. Because as we know, fines or jail for those seems like a deterrent, but it only further marginalizes individuals who are already struggling. So instead of focusing on punitive measures, our resource must be spent to create more beds with treatment for mental health and such supportive services, as been said by so many of the speakers today. After all, every person in our county deserves a safe and dignified place to go and sleep at night. This past week, I actually had an opportunity on Sunday to face-to-face spoke with the governor for about a minute on this very issue, and I asked him about it. With the case law changing, it certainly had provided the county and cities more opportunity to do these sweeps. And based on his order, as from the governor, we talked about what is really the best thing to do and how removing funds from the county and cities is not helpful, as mentioned by my colleague here. His comment to me was, I need to see results. And exactly, we want to do the same as well. So we're going to work very hard together with the city of Palmer County to make sure that the marginalized community that we speak about will receive those services. What we have talked about today on these proposals, a lot of them are long-term. But at the same time, there are many things that we need to do short-term as well to fight this issue. Like I said before, there's no silver bullets, but we really need everybody, all hands on deck. Increasing beds is absolutely the key. In addition to the mental health beds and the such beds we talk about, the issue of having shelter for individuals and families per se are also as important, and these are all part of the solution in order to serve this very needed community. So I just want to mention these are all the things we're working really hard at our county, and I have actually spent the last 2 weeks almost every other day at our Sunnyvale Hamlin shelter to try to figure out what we're doing with the issues we're facing over there for our single unhoused individuals who need help. And this is the type of work that it will take a lot of us, counties, cities, state, and even federal governments, not just money, but actually a lot of real hard work running our sleeves to make this work. And so I implore everyone, And thank you for being here today to share your personal stories, and we look forward to working together to help solve this issue in our county once and for all. Thank you very much.
Happy to make a motion to receive the report.
And I'll go and second that. Let's go take a vote.
Vice Chairperson Ellenberg?
Yes.
Chairperson Lee?
Yes as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We are going back to item number 4, which is to receive the report from the Santa Clara Valley Healthcare and Facilities and Fleet Department relating to investments in Santa Clara Valley Healthcare energy conservation projects and estimated returns on investments. To present this time today, we have Jeff Draper, our Director of Facilities and Fleet Department, Brad Vance, our Program Manager. Brad here today?
Good morning,
Thank you. Good morning, Jeff.
Just quickly, if you remember, there was about $17 million of projects identified through our hospital system that were going to be energy efficiency projects with paybacks in the range of anywhere between 3 and 10 years, more or less. And we did propose, obviously, some funding through the capital improvement program. Didn't get any funding there specifically, but as we are doing projects in the hospital system, we're incorporating those efficiency changes. That's all I have to report on at this moment. Wait for questions.
Right. Thank you very much. Supervisor Ellenberg, do you have any comments or questions? Go to the public hearing first.
My comment is very brief. Thanks for the report. It is the prudent choice to make, and I know it's a challenging one, but thank you, Jeff.
Okay. Any public comments?
There are no requests to speak.
Go ahead and close the public hearing. May I have a motion? To receive the report?
I move that we receive the report.
And I'll go and second that. Let's take a vote.
Vice Chairperson Ellenberg?
Yes.
Chairperson Lee?
Yes, as well. Thank you, Jeff. All right, moving to item number 6 on the agenda, which is a quarterly report from the Office of County Executive relating to Santa Clara County Fairgrounds.
Good morning, Supervisors.
Good
Consuelo
morning.
Hernandez, Deputy County Executive. We don't have a presentation, but happy to take questions.
I'll let everybody introduce yourself. I see Glenn Williams, Asset Development Manager here, along with you, Consuelo. I'll let the other staff member to introduce yourself, please. Thank you.
I'm Celine Duarte. I'm the co-interim director of the Santa Clara County Fairgrounds and the fair manager.
Thank you.
Hi, good morning, Supervisors. Lee and Allenberg, Sandy Shayeste, Director of Finance, HR, and IT.
Thank you, and welcome. Yes, any questions?
I do, but do you want to? I'm happy to hear
we could do the
public
public
commenters
hearing
first.
So any public would like to speak on this item regarding fairgrounds?
I have no requests.
Okay, I'll go and close the public hearing then, and yes.
Thank you. I have some questions first for Sandy, and then I'll wrap up with Consuelo. Thank you for being here, and thank you both for stepping into the interim director role. I know that there have been a lot of changes recently, and just want to express appreciation for not only you, but for the staff members who have stayed around, stepped up, and are working to move us forward. Now that we're entering the second half of 2024, can you say a little bit, Sandy, about how the actual revenues and costs are comparing to your budget estimates?
Well, we did present an amended budget for 2024 to our board, which was approved in June. And right now, we are really scrutinizing all of our expenses. We do show that we are positive at the moment in terms of our budget, and we will bring forward in the next report our financial results for the quarter.
So the business plan that projected an increase of $2.9 million, including fair revenue and bingo revenue, are those on track to meet the 2.9?
In our amended budget, we had to reduce those 2 program services because we started the bingo operations later than we anticipated, and that with our fair, we had to reduce the budget as well to accommodate the decrease in what we had perceived to receive for sponsorships to hold the fair. So we kept our budget very tight in terms of expenditures for entertainment or any equipment rental that we needed.
I look forward to seeing that all laid out. I understand that there may be a few remaining tenants in the RV lot. When can we expect that situation to be fully resolved?
Currently, that's being handled by county council.
Is there anything, Masa, that you can say about that, the RV tenants themselves, and anything about the security costs?
I'm going to have to get back to you on an off-agenda basis if that's okay with you.
Okay, thank you. Another budget item that we've all noted, I'm sure that's ballooned recently, is the cleaning. Are there any updates on controlling that costs?
Yes, we have looked at how we can minimize some of the security and cleaning costs in the facility. We also have implemented installing solar tower lightings and removing some of the other gas type of lighting towers that we use to save on expenses.
And you have the cash to be able to do that, to install that solar lighting?
Yes, it actually is a significant savings to us.
Excellent. Another issue that we talked about at a previous meeting was a plan to improve the transparency for recording and reporting parking revenue. Are you able at this point to provide a breakdown of parking revenue on a per event basis?
I would have to bring back that information.
If that's something you could send to the board members, I would appreciate that, since that's been talked about a lot. How is cash flow looking at this halfway point of the year? Does FMC have adequate cash flow?
Currently, on a monthly basis, we've been holding at $2.4 million, which gives us approximately about 4 months reserve. And this is pretty much in alignment with what we would have in terms of recommendations from our auditors.
Good, that's a little bit up. The self-stated required minimum was 3 months, right?
But that's basically the how we kind of like in that certain time.
Sorry, I
can't. Within that range.
3 to 4 months
Oh,
is the range.
Yes.
Thank you. Last year, the FMC requested of the board and received an additional $1.4 million. And one of the reasons that was cited were operational losses. We're now a year, well over a year removed from any county use of the fairgrounds, of course, for which we were also compensating FMC. Is there any reason to expect that FMC operations would continue to require a county subsidy?
At the present time, I think that I don't have an exact answer for that. But as I mentioned, all of our operations, our program services have been sufficient to cover our expenses.
To cover operating expenses, capital expenses, or both?
At the present time, we are not expending any of our cash for capital improvements, and it's just covering our operations.
Great, and I'll look for that to be made clear in any financial reports, that clear distinction between regular operations and capital improvements in next year's business plan. The board did approve some funding for capital projects, which would be allocated to projects under the direction of fleet and facilities. is there, and maybe this is to Consuelo, is there a list of what projects might be covered?
Thank you for the question,
Mm-hmm.
Supervisor Ellenberg. In my week 4,
Yeah.
I am working with the Facilities and Fleet Department to prioritize the capital budget projects, and also working to schedule a site visit with Glenn and Sandy and Company at FMC at the fairgrounds to kind of figure out what are those projects that are most critical. I'm hoping that during the next report back on the fairgrounds, we'll have more information for you.
Excellent, thank you. I'm super aware that it's only 4 weeks. But what I'll be interested in seeing as you move more deeply into this role is a linkage between any capital improvements that are proposed by FMC and the county's overall capital improvement plan. We, of course, spend a significant amount of time discussing capital improvements for behavioral health, for other county functions. And I want to make sure that we are not looking at the fairgrounds in a different manner. So staying, Consuelo, with you, my team is very interested in understanding the planning efforts for the next capital improvement program. So Steve Yotes will connect with you, or whoever you direct him to connect with. And on a really high level, I'm looking to see 2 things. First, an evaluation of existing FMC operations. If they're not self-sufficient, I would expect to see a detailed plan on how they plan to meet those expectations and what a plan B would look like if they're unable to meet those expectations. Second, a detailed capital improvement program, as I mentioned, aligned with the county's own 10-year capital improvement program. I think it's important for the board to know which investments are necessary to maintain safe operations, which are discretionary, and what the expected return on investment would be for any non-essential projects. I'd also like to see us incorporate and align with the long-term redevelopments that are in various stages of negotiation and contracting around other areas of the fairgrounds. And that's all of my questions. Thank you for the report. Thank you, Consuelo, for diving into this along with everything else. And my team is here to support and learn with you and help move this forward. The county fairgrounds are a tremendous asset to our county and really should be a jewel. Thank you.
Thank you, and I don't have any further comments and questions. I'm looking forward to the next report. Hope to get a lot of these issues mentioned by my colleague being resolved, and as I completely agree, it's a wonderful piece of real estate that it's really a jewel of our county, so take good care of it, and hopefully we'll be able to turn this around and make it an even better place for so many other exciting activities to come. Thank you.
I'm happy to make a motion to receive the report with the additional direction.
I'll second. Let's take the vote.
Vice Chairperson Ellenberg?
Yes.
Chairperson Lee?
Yes, as well. Thank you very much. Item number 7 on the agenda is report from the Office of County Executive and provide recommendations relating to the draft response to the civil grand jury entitled No Strings Attached. County of Santa Clara Board Inventory Items.
Following our usual process, we've prepared draft responses to the civil grand jury reports. These 2 reports are a little different than most of the ones that we tend to get on an annual basis from the grand jury because their recommendations were really very specifically directed to Board of Supervisors processes. With respect to this first report, that's the board's inventory process. The second report regarding appointments on the Housing Authority. We've prepared some proposed draft responses, but wanted to make sure we got any input that the committee had before we brought these forward at the next full board meeting.
Great, and you mentioned both, so Supervisor Ellenberg, is it okay if we go ahead and listen and hear 7 and 8 together? given the fact that
Sure.
those are both related to the civil grand jury, if that's okay. And that's okay with the council, we could hear both of these items together, please? Okay, great, thank you. Okay, do you have any questions and comments with our county exec for the time being, or should I open the public hearing first?
Happy to hear from the public, and then I have some comments and questions on both.
Great, okay. So now we're hearing both item number 7 and 8 relating to the civil grand jury report, the two reports. And anybody in the public would like to speak?
I do have one request online.
Okay, I believe one person, do you get 3 minutes?
No,
Oh,
2.
2 minutes, I'm sorry, yeah, 2 minutes. So go ahead, set for 2 minutes, please, go ahead.
Thank you. Our one speaker is Yi Wang. You'll have 2 minutes to speak. The timer will start when you begin speaking.
Thank you so much for having this opportunity, and I really want to say 2 things. One is I really encourage the council to require all the project reports to be presented with a PowerPoint presentation, because it's a good opportunity to educate the public. So for me, it's a learning process. And this would also ensure the complex information is communicated clearly and effectively, making easier for both council and public to understand the scope, progress, and impact of each project. The second, I really believe it's crucial for the council member to take the active roles in these presentations by asking questions, especially very good questions. Active participation not only show accountability, but also demonstrate a commitment to thorough understanding the details of each project. And by engaging more deeply, council members can better present the interest of our community and ensure that projects are executed with highest level of scrutiny and care. Because we, as a president, we don't have much knowledge, but we need you guys to give us the confidence. So with these 2 actions, using visual aids like PowerPoint and fostering an environment of active questioning will significantly enhance our decision-making process, leading to more informed and executive governance. Thank you for considering these suggestions.
That concludes public comment.
Thank you, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Supervisor Ellenberg.
Thank you very much, and I do appreciate both of these coming to FGOC for discussion. The board generally sees the administration responses on our regular meeting agenda, but because these 2 reports so directly address board decisions and policies, that I think it's really helpful for us to have the discussions today. With regard to the first report on our inventory policy, very much appreciate and thank the civil grand jury for their observations and administration for your report and responses. The inventory process has been something that has somewhat mystified me since joining the board, and I've taken a number of actions to make this more of a predictable and transparent process. First, by limiting the spending to $500,000 per office during the pandemic, not directly related, but putting some guardrails around the sponsorship budget with a total for each office and then a total for each sponsorship. This year, we added some more significant reforms, including caps for each office, plus the first implementation of an equity tool. We created a uniform application, which I still have some thoughts about iterations, but I am pleased that there is board support for moving continually in the direction of predictability and transparency. and I support all of administration's recommendations, so thank you for that. On the Housing Authority, again, appreciation to both administration and the Housing Authority for all of your work in this area. Our county has displayed tremendous leadership in building permanent affordable housing, and that work could not be accomplished without the strong partnership of the Housing Authority. Some of the civil grand jury's recommendations are related to the Housing Authority Board appointment process. And as administration outlined, I agree and appreciate that the current appointment system allows the board to select individuals based on our local knowledge, using our discretion. And further, I really believe that it's the Housing Authority that's in the best position to address any necessary training for its own board. Given the significance of the Housing Authority's work and the scope of their influence as recognized by the civil grand jury, I absolutely agree that training and onboarding is important. And I believe, I can't see that far, but I think Preston Prince is here. There he is. The CEO of the Housing Authority. And Preston, I'd like you to just talk a little bit for purposes, again, of deepening the public's understanding in this work about any current or projected training and onboarding processes for board appointees.
Sure. Chair Lee, Vice Chair Ellenberg, I'm a little embarrassed to be coming for my first civil grand jury report and going through this experience for the first time in my career. So a little embarrassed that there were findings, but like you, I appreciate the work that the civil grand jury went through. I think that we disagree with many of their findings, or we partially agree, but we wholeheartedly agree with the recommendations, particularly, as you just pointed out, the responsibility of the Housing Authority to really play a strong role in the onboarding of our commissioners. So I'm 3 years into my tenure at the Housing Authority. We've had one appointment to our board in the 3 years. In preparation for that appointment, we did create an onboarding system so that we are able to review with the new commissioner, we can review all aspects of the Housing Authority's operations and have a meeting with the executive staff and the new commissioner, reviewing policies and procedures. And we have also started, post-COVID, being able to have commissioners attend the National NARO Conference, which is coming up in September, where there is a track of sessions that target commissioners and making sure that they understand their full responsibilities and that they understand the breadth of what a housing authority is doing. I also want to point out that since I've come to the Housing Authority, we've done a number of things to really make sure that commissioners are well-versed in the complexity of the situation that they are then voting on. And so that includes, we've created a number of ad hoc committees where a small number of commissioners are able to really do a deep dive on issues and then be able to report back out to the rest of the board about what they've learned. That did not happen prior to me coming. We also do in-meeting briefings around topics. We did a 5-session or briefings to the board leading up to our Move to Work plan, really looking at best practices happening around the country, around the areas of how do we use Move to Work's strategies to improve educational outcomes? How do we do it to improve wealth creation for our families? How do we improve or address injustices within the housing systems? So we do use in-house or in board meeting session or trainings to really make sure board members are well-versed. And the last thing I do is I meet with each board member individually, reviewing the board packet one-on-one so that they fully understand what's going to be coming up in front of them at the next board meeting, being able to really make sure that they have the information that they need to make a well-informed decision. So we are implementing many steps to increase board competency and knowledge.
Thank you so much. I appreciate hearing that detail as well. Not sitting on the authority, I wasn't directly aware of how you prepared appointees. So thank you very much for that. I also encourage you to not be embarrassed. These are all opportunities for reflection and iteration, and I don't think any of us are at a place where we can't improve our processes. And you might look at it, hear me out, as sort of a badge of honor in some ways, because if the Housing Authority warrants this close engagement, it means that the work is really critical and important. If it didn't matter, nobody would bother looking closely. So I think we've all been given an opportunity to understand more deeply how the Housing Authority works and how vital it is to our community. So thank you for that. And that's all I have. So I would move that items 7 and 8 are received today and recommended to the full board for adoption.
And I'll second that, and I'll go ahead and make a couple of comments as well. With Preston, you're here. Just want to say thank you for your participation on this. And I just want to make it very clear that this started from the sale of this property with the huge loss. And I felt unjustly in a way for you to sometimes have to take the blame for it, because the mistake here is not the sale of a property that is not needed, it's the purchase of a property that doesn't make sense. So that's something that happened before your watch. So I just want to say thank you for making a hard decision on this issue. As we all know, since the sale of the property, the glut of office space from there onwards has only increased, and if anything, the property value of these has only decreased in value. So I'm glad that we basically stopped the bleeding on something that is unuseful for us. So thank you for that. I just want to say that personally. Second of all, regarding the first inventory item that we have dealt with, first I want to thank our staff for the presentation and the county exec's response to the civil grand jury report. I also want to say deeply thank the civil grand juries for taking the time with a lot of good feedback for the board to reflect and improve our inventory processes. The recommendations that came from the ad hoc committee of Supervisor Arenas and Ellenberg on the inventory process previously also have addressed some of these issues raised, including this addition of the uniform cover sheet as part of the process to make the application process with more uniform. Our board offices have very different processes, and certainly I'm very proud of our office adopting this urgent grant process that's very transparent with evaluation by outside review board members for these grant applications. My office has also retained the spirit of the inventory grant program, having at least 2/3 of our grant going to smaller, emerging nonprofit organizations that's not contracted with the county, with small grant amounts that are manageable for these small organizations, but have huge impact with our community. We have also incorporated a simple reporting mechanism for our grantees to share us how they have used the grant funding and impact they've had, and many of these groups have even completed a final report on their grant without prompting. So I hope that my colleagues will take the feedback from civil grand jury to heart in the future and strengthen every office's own processes with eye toward transparency and equity. And got a motion, I got a second. Oh, you have further comments?
Nope.
Okay, let's go take a vote.
Vice Chairperson Ellenberg?
Yes.
Chairperson Lee?
Yes as well, thank you. Then we move to item number 9, which is the monthly leisurely report from the Office of Intergovernmental Relations, IGR. Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, my mic is on. Great. The slides are being shared.
Oh, Monica, let me introduce. So we have Monica Tong here, our legislative manager. Would you want your team to introduce themselves for the record?
Sure, absolutely. I will go from our right to left.
Good morning, Supervisors.
Morning.
Mary Hannah Weir, Lead Deputy County Counsel.
Good morning, Supervisors. Erin Evans Feudum, Legislative Deputy County Counsel.
Good morning, Elaine Trin, Senior Management Analyst with IGR.
Welcome.
And good morning. This is David Campos, Deputy County Executive here from Sacramento.
Thank you. We could hear you loud and clear from the voice above. Go ahead, David and Monica.
I think Monica will start, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair and Vice Chair. We appreciate you having us today. Please note, as I usually do, that the slides were created at a point in time, so there have been a few changes since then, but our presentation today will reflect the most up-to-date information. Today we plan to give a quick update on the end of session, our sponsored and co-sponsored bills, an overview of the legislative platform revamp, and upcoming items. We already did our introductions, and David is joining us from Sacramento, so at this time, I will turn it over to him.
Thank you very much, Monica. And as you will see throughout the presentation, you'll have different members of the team presenting on different items. And as Monica indicated, we are nearing the end of the session, and the next 2 weeks will be extremely busy before the legislative session ends at the end of the month. There are a number of things happening this week. The big suspense hearings in the State Senate and the Assembly will occur on Thursday of this week upon adjournment, which means that we will be learning the fate of many of the bills that we have put forward, that we have co-sponsored at that time. And the scary thing is that the hundreds of bills that remain must actually be passed by the legislature by August 31st. And yes, that is Saturday, August 31st, as you can see in the timeline. We're not really sure exactly, how that will happen or when some of these votes will be taken. One wrinkle to add is that in reality, it's not the entirety of the remainder of the month that will be used, because a number of members of the legislature will actually be going to the Democratic National Convention next week. So we're not sure that much will happen next week, which only complicates things in terms of the process. The one thing I do want to note, and I'm sure that some of you are very mindful of this, this legislative session is actually the last legislative session that we will be represented in Santa Clara by a couple of members, beginning with Senator Laird, who currently represents Santa Clara County, but because of redistricting, he will no longer be our state senator by the end of the calendar year. So this is his last session as one of our representatives, as well as Assemblymember Lowe. And then the last couple of points is Governor Newsom will have until September 30th to sign or veto bills. So a lot happening in a very short period of time. And with that, I will turn it back to Monica and our team.
Great, thank you, David. Just a quick update on where our sponsored and co-sponsored bills are. The sponsored bills are both on the floor, so AB 3035 is on the Senate floor, and SB 1317 is on the Assembly floor. We have some great news to share. AB 1957, one of our co-sponsored bills, was signed into law on July 2nd, so congratulations to Assemblymember Wilson. And we have one bill on Senate suspense and one bill on Assembly suspense that we are monitoring closely, and we'll have an update later this week. I'll turn it back to David.
Thank you very much. And I don't want to, go into all the details, but as you can see from the slide, we have been engaged in Sacramento on so many different levels. Different pieces of legislation that, of course, we have put forward, that we're sponsoring, legislation that we are co-sponsoring, and of course, we're weighing in on a lot of different issues. And of course, the big priority in this legislative session being excess ERAF, and the fact that, until up to now, we have been very successful in making sure that that potential cut does not move forward. The other thing that I will say and will note, and I know that this has been a priority for board members and for our county executive, is that we have really enhanced the presence of the county in Sacramento, and we have a number of county staff and leadership that are actually being more engaged in Sacramento and presenting in Sacramento, staff that have provided testimony, technical support on so many issues that are taking place here. Since our last report, the Office of County Counsel actually provided technical support to the legislature on several bills, the election bill that Assemblymember Loeb put forward, the leaded avgas bill that also went forward. And then just yesterday, the chief executive of our health system, Paul Lorenz, testified in front of a joint legislative committee, the health committee of both the Senate and the Assembly, on the very critical issue of Prop 35. So, we're very proud of the work that we have been doing and continue to push to make sure that the County of Santa Clara is included in all of the things that are happening in Sacramento, and a lot of people, we believe, are paying attention. So with that, I will turn it back to our team, and I think it's Elaine who's going to take it from here.
Thanks, David. And now I will speak to our 2025 legislative platform. We are still currently underway in the 2024 session, but here in IGR, we have already started planning for the next session. So earlier in July, we reached out to departments and let them know that this process is underway. Departments have until August to provide updates to the legislative policies document, which is the 84-page policy document that the board approves annually. And we are also asking departments to bring forward any bill ideas for us to carry in the next session. We are also meeting with departments in August. We actually kicked that off this morning, and we will have several more meetings throughout this week and throughout August. And then in September, IGR and County Council will review the bill ideas, the legislative policy edits, and also meet with the Board of Supervisors. And at the same time, we are also requesting departments bring forward any state and federal budget requests, and those are due to IGR in the end of September. In October, we will bring forward the board policy chapters to each relevant board policy committee for review and approval before going to the board in November with the entire legislative policies document, as well as the legislative proposals. And then in November through January, we will seek authors for the sponsored bills.
Great. And finally, we have a quick few items coming up for IGR. Yesterday, the board approved the semi-monthly report of upcoming solicitations, item 73, which included the RFP for state lobbying services that is being released today. And IGR is working with the deputy county executives, departments, and county council on submissions to the 2024 CSAC Challenge Awards. And IGR plans to submit a legislative file to the full board on statewide ballot measures in the coming meetings. And I'll quickly turn it over to Mary for a breaking news update.
Thank you, Monica. As the supervisors, I'm sure, are well aware, in addition to statewide ballot measures, we also were anticipating a regional measure to be put on our ballot for November. The Bay Area Housing Financing Authority did take action this morning to remove it from the ballot pursuant to Elections Code 9605, and so that will no longer be on our ballot in November. They indicated this morning that they hope to put it on a future election. We'll see.
And I think that concludes our presentation, Monica.
Correct. We're happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Monica and David and the team. Thank you. This is very helpful to understand what's going on. And that breaking news certainly is something that a lot of us was not anticipating this morning, and kind of sad in the way of the lack of ability to get the funding. Measure A has been a very successful program for us in our county, and this was something that I think so many of us were looking forward to, potentially providing funding for so many of our counties, 9 counties here in the Bay Area. I do have one quick question regarding the the schedule of individuals. I have been told by one assembly member that the speaker has specifically told the members that they are not allowed to go to the Chicago DNC in order to do work. What happened to that? Because
If I may, through the chair, Mr. Chair, that in fact has been the position that the legislature has taken, that because you had the session that was still ongoing, that they decided not to have a presence at the convention. That changed in the last few days, which actually complicated things for the Democratic Party at the state and federal level, because they decided to send for 48 hours a small delegation of members of the Assembly and the State Senate. But I think that the way they did it, they're only allowed to be there for 48 hours. So we've been dealing with that. But I think that enough of them aren't going that it will be very difficult for a lot of work to be done. So there was a change in that approach.
Well, thank you for clarifying that, David. Really appreciate it. All right, let me see if there's any in the public who would like to have any questions on this item. Do we have any public here, clerk?
I have no requests. Oh, apologies. One hand is up in Zoom.
Okay, let's go ahead in 2 minutes.
Our one speaker is Yi Wang. You'll have 2 minutes to speak. We will open your microphone. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I just ask questions. Where can we learn of your things? Because I feel like I'm lost and I don't know a thing, and I cannot ask a question. I just want to learn from that. Where can I get that information? Thank you.
Perhaps the clerk could note where our agendas are publicly posted.
It's a long website to read.
Maybe clerk, maybe make more sense for you to connect with the speaker, the caller, to provide her email her the link for future references. I think that would be easiest. But mainly is our own website, which is.
I think that's the better way to do it.
Yeah, the webinar doesn't collect contact information for Zoom speakers. Sorry.
Going to the Santa Clara County webpage.
Yeah, if you just go to santaclaracounty.gov and scroll to the very bottom of the page, there's a link at the very, very bottom to board agendas, minutes, and webcasts. And from that link, you'll be able to find the agenda for any board meeting, committee meeting, or any other County Brown Act body.
Thank you, James.
Thank you.
Yes, this meeting and all committee meetings of the board, as well as all full board meetings, the information's available going back many, many years, including the videos, transcripts, and all the materials that are posted for the meetings.
Yes, yeah, public hearing is still on, so, yeah. So basically, the information is provided through the website, and you'd be happy to take any statements from any individuals. You could speak during the public comment period, or you could submit the statement to us as well. Thank you.
These instructions are also all included on the paper agendas available in the back of the room.
Exactly. All right, thank you very much, and go ahead and close the public hearing. Any questions, Supervisor Ellenberg?
Yes, just a couple. First of all, Aaron, it is lovely to see you here, and it was so nice to meet you in Sacramento. Looking forward to working together. And of course, David, now I'm just curious it's not a question you can answer, but curious to know how the legislative members were selected that get to attend for 48 hours. A little bit more substantively, though, what are we expecting to hear later this month with regard to Senator Cortesi's SB 333, and how might it impact our guaranteed income program?
Yes, if I may, through the chair, President Ellenberg, I think that there's a lot of uncertainty about what's going to happen to many bills, including that bill, because of the budget challenges, the budget deficit. The big question is sort of what the cost for any of these requests, these items is. And so I don't know that I have an answer for that. And I think that even the members themselves are trying to figure that out. And so we are happy, we're tracking that bill, and we're happy to reconnect with them just to see what the latest is to give you a better sense of what might happen. But that's the challenge, that we don't expect as many things to move forward this year as in prior years because of the deficit.
And what do you hear, and I apologize if it was on the slide, I somehow missed it, the re-revisions to the revised Levine Act. There's no appropriation attached to that. Is that likely to go through?
Not sure, President Ellenberg. So I can follow up on that issue as well.
Please do. I can assure you that the 5 supervisors are very interested in that status.
Yes, and I think that's, if I may, just the challenge right now is that one of the things that we are hearing is that there's a lot of uncertainty and not clear exactly how the legislature, but especially the governor, will approach some of these things.
Okay. Thank you for that. And Prop 5, the threshold for bond passage at 55%. There was a little hiccup with possibly having to change the language, but do I understand, is it a final status that the original language stands, or are there still more appeals that could be made?
I believe that the original language stands. Aaron, I don't know if you have anything to add on that.
This is Mary Hannah-Weir. I'm happy to answer the question from the supervisor. As I understand it, you're correct. There was a Superior Court order to change the language and then an appellate court order to go back to the original language. My understanding, the Secretary of State has provided to all county elections officials the final text as it was originally written. So
Okay,
I
so
think it's over and done.
it's done. Okay.
But it's certainly not outside the realm of possibility the California Supreme Court would weigh in, but I think it's pretty vanishingly small likelihood.
Okay, great. Thank you all so much. That's all I have.
All right, do I have a motion to receive a report?
So moved.
And now going to second that. Let's take the vote.
Vice Chairperson Ellenberg?
Yes.
Chairperson Lee?
Yes as well. And I believe we come to the end of our agenda. And I'll go ahead and call the meeting to adjourn at 11:59 a.m.
Excellent work, Chair.
Just in time. Thank you, everybody.